First of all, I want to say thanks to Tom for allowing me to continue to finish the task at hand. At North Dakota State, I want to say it's unique in Division I athletics for that situation to occur. When we say we're in this business for the student athletes, many times that's a lot of rhetoric. And one of the big reasons why I came to Wyoming, there's lots of reasons, and we're going to get to know each other through the years, but when you have a boss like that, that really puts his money where his mouth is, that says, hey, listen, you know what, you go coach that football team. I want to say thanks to him. The University of Wyoming is a special, special place, and I think it's important for us to be able to recruit the Wyoming profile, guys that are going to embrace of all the great things that have happened in the past here at Wyoming. There will be a style of play that we're going to have, and that's going to be indicative of Cowboy Tough football. And so if we're going to say that, I think we really need to recruit to that mantra. And so some of the geographical areas are going to change slightly. Certainly some of the schematics are going to change. To say that we're going to recruit just like North Dakota State would be a misrepresentation. I don't think that you can do that. However, there is some things that are a secret to the formula that worked at North Dakota State that also worked for the University of Nebraska when I was an assistant for Tom Osborne, and we had a great run where we were 60-3. So you've got two programs that one was 60-3 and the other one was 43-2, playing a certain style of football. I think it's a style of football that our fan base here in Wyoming is going to appreciate, and so we're going to recruit to that style of football. There needs to be a fit for a Wyoming Cowboy, a profile, a guy that's going to really embrace what Cowboy Tough football is. And then also some of it comes down to, you know, when you're out there in practice, you got to get some dirt on. You got to get your hand in the dirt. This is not an easy game. You know, I say it's a man's game played by men, and it'll break you down. And to do that, you got to practice that way. And in today's game, everybody wants to do all kinds of sideways stuff, and everybody wants to talk about being, they got to run the ball, or they got to play great defense. Well, to do that, you got to dedicate yourself to that, and that starts with a strength and conditioning program. That starts in your spring football, how you practice. It comes into how you practice in the fall. All those things come into play, but those are the same things that come into play when you got to have one last drive. And that defense is tired out there and that offense stays on the field, or you need a 3-and-out on defense and the other team can run the football, or you got to generate some pass rush. That comes about through a lot of methodical hard work. And so there's no silver bullet, but we do know the recipe, and it's a recipe that we're going to put in place here. It's a great job. It fits me. I think one thing that helps is you kind of know who you are. It was a phenomenal experience for me to coach at North Dakota State, and I also started to look and say, okay, my mission is then, well, where am I going to fit? You know, you got all these search firms, and search firms are great, and heck, I shopped around. I won't even say all the different names. And no, that's not right. No, this isn't right. No, that's not right. I'm a Midwest guy. I was recruited by Wyoming. I wasn't good enough to play here. I wanted to play here. You know, there's a certain profile for me to be able to go into a young man's home that I'm going to identify with that's going to be able to come here. That won't work at some of these outlying schools, even some of the schools that are in our league. And I looked and said, you know what, if I'm going to move from North Dakota State, it's got to be something that's going to fit me. Otherwise, it's going to be I don't care how many zeros you put behind a dollar sign. Coaches are competitive. You want to win. And I looked and said, this is the right fit. This is a great fit. And I'm really excited about being here. And what's been so encouraging is each step along the way, there's just been more and more confirming signs. Some of it, once again, comes into knowing who you are, and a lot of it's also going to be when you get out there and you start seeing the guys move around and you see their nature during spring football. But I can tell you this, if there's a coach that's going to have a great pulse and say what kind of team they are, you don't get it till you get in the first quarter of your first game of the season. That's when you start to look and say, okay, this is how we're going to be. I think we don't want to limit the senior class though. It's their last year of football. Most of these guys, when they take the pads off, they're done. And so for me to come in there and put a limit on saying, hey, you know what, we're only going to do this year and you guys are going to be just kind of do the best you can, that's a disservice to those guys. But to say that there's a quick fix and, you know, boom, we're going to boom, next thing you know, I don't know where the BCS champ is, not even going to be the BCS deal, we're going to be in that game. That's unrealistic. These guys know, players know, and you guys know. And how we fare this next year, I don't have a silver or a crystal ball, but I can tell you that football team will be focused. They're going to play disciplined. They're going to be hard-nosed, and they will be physical. And that has nothing to do with our opponent, but you count on that. Those things I just said, you come back in there and you ask me, did we do those things? We will do those things.